World Rivers, Part 29. Irrigation use constitutes comparatively large percentage of the total supply. With a history of at least 5,000 years, controlled irrigation now affects roughly 2 million square kilometers of land, which is three quarters of it in East and South Asia, and two-fifths of the mainland China alone. Most of this activity involves the use of natural floodwater, although reliance on artificially impounded storage has increased rapidly. Irrigation in the 1300-kilometer length of the Indus Valley, for instance, depends almost exclusively on barrages, that is, the distributor canals running down alluvial fans along the food plains. I beg your pardon, it's the floodplains. We've been talking about our river, River Indus, and the River Indus has got a very long and wide irrigation plan. The field is absolutely very long. The irrigation in 1,300-kilometer length of the Indus Valley, for instance, depends almost exclusively on barrages, that is, distributor canals, running down alluvial fans and along floodplains. There are floodplains. So the present day demands on rivers as power sources range from floating of timber through the use of water for cooling to hydroelectric generation. Logging in forest relies primarily on the flotation during the season of meltwater and high flow. Large power plants and other industrial facilities are often located along rivers which supply the enormous quantities of water needed for cooling purposes. Manufacturers of the petrochemicals, steel, and woolen cloth also make large demands. Hydroelectric power generation was introduced more than 100 years ago, but the majority of the existing installations have been built since 1950. Many of the world's major industrial nations have developed their hydropower potential to the fullest, though a few, like the United States, still have some untapped resources. It has been estimated that 75% of the potential hydropower in the contiguous United States has been developed, and about 13% of the total annual electrical energy demands of the country are met by the hydroelectric power plants. By contrast, there are some countries such as Norway and Switzerland that depend almost entirely on hydropower for their various electrical energy needs. There is great potential for supplies of hydropower in Central Asia and many of the other developing countries in the region of the Himalayas, Africa, and South America. Use demand of more immediate kinds are related to freshwater fisheries, including fish farming, to dwelling in the houseboats, and to the recreational activities. Reliable data for these kinds of dependencies on the rivers do not exist. Published estimates that freshwater and migratory fish provide up to about 15% of the world catch may be too low. Certainly, millions of people are concerned with the freshwater fishery and houseboat living, principally, principally in the deltaic areas of East Asia, where dwelling, marketing, and travel can be located almost exclusively on the water. Well, it is also happening in Indus as well. In our province, Sindh, we do have such dwellings when the families live on the boats and their profession is fishing. So it has been happening there for thousands of years.